My name is Ivelma. I'm 22 years old, coming from a very wealthy family in the affluent areas of Lagos. My father, 64 years old, is an influential man, a member of the government, one of those who have shaped the country. He has everything: money, power, connection. Since I was a little girl, I've always been under his wing, admiring his life of luxury. Those first-class trips to Brussels, Paris, New York. Every holiday, it was the same, a routine of luxury I had become used to. In our household, every time was orchestrated with decision, personal chauffeur, villa scattered around the world, 5 stars hotel. I was the headess, my father's favorite among my 3 other siblings. And then one day, everything changed. That day, my father called me into his office. It was not unusual, but he had a more serious look sitting in front of him. I still remember the conversation that changed my life forever. "Ivilma, do you love me?" he asked in a gentle voice. "Yes, Daddy, of course I love you. You are the man I love most in the world," I replied without hesitation. "And do you love this life we live? The travels, the luxury, all these beautiful things I give you?" "Yes, Daddy, I adore all of them. Thank you for everything." He smiled, but something strange flickered in his eyes. Then he continued, "You know, my daughter, all these things come with a price. Nothing is free in this world." I was confused. What price? Everything seemed so perfect, so easy. "I'm part of a mystical group, Ivilma," he revealed after a long silence. "All this privilege we have, they come with sacrifice, and now it's your turn to make a choice. If you want this life to continue, you must help me, otherwise everything will fall apart. I will die and we will become poor." I looked at him, the word swirling in my head, unable to comprehend. For the first time, I saw my father cry, tears streaming down his face. "But how, Daddy? The groups demand that I conceive a child with you, my first daughter." My stomach churned. My own father have a child with me. It was unthinkable. I stood up, trembling, unable to understand what he had just said. He calmed me with a gentleness that terrified me. "You have 1 month to think, Ivilma. I won't force you, but know that if you refuse, I will die, and you, your mother, your sibling, you will lose everything. You will live like beggars." His word hit me like a punch. My own father, a child with me. How was it possible? I was lost, completely shaken. For days, I couldn't stop thinking, tormented by thoughts. How could I refuse anything to the man who had given me everything? A man who has always been there for me, who made me who I am. How could I let him die? At 22, I had never done anything by myself. Every task was handled by someone else. And the idea of living in poverty without all this privilege is unbearable. I saw how the poor live in the streets, their misery, their struggle for every little comfort. Could I really accept such a life? No, it was impossible. I had never known lack. So what was I supposed to do? 1 month later, I made my decision. I accepted. My first encounter with my father was strange, disturbing, but deep down, there was an emotion I couldn't divine. This man, my father, was everything to me. He was my hero, the man I had always admired. Over time, these forbidden encounters took a different turn. I found myself not waiting for him to come to me. It was me who went to him, me who sought him. I was almost in love with my own father. We continued like this for months until I became pregnant. It was shock for me, but also a liberation. We found an excuse. I told everyone it was an imaginary boyfriend from university who got me pregnant before fleeing. No one ever questioned it, and thus my daughter was born, a child hidden, born from this forbidden union. But even after my daughter's birth, the encounters did not stop. On the contrary, every month my father came to see me and we resumed. It was part of pact. He told me he could stop at any moment, but I had to know what would happen if we stopped. He would die. He would have to die and we would lose everything. The only way to maintain our dream life was to continue. Today, my daughter is 5 years old. He believes his grandfather is just a protective and caring man. He has no idea of what really goes on. But I can't continue anymore. I want a normal life, meet someone, marry, have a real family. But each time I think about stopping, I see my father's face, this crushing weight on my shoulder. It tells me as he will never force me, but I know if I stop, I will lose him. I'm trapped. I'm a prisoner of these cursed paths, and yet a part of me has never been able to break this strange, unearthly bond.